Hi, I'm Dan McClary of Tennessee Shakespeare Company. Welcome back to the Decameron Project. The date, March 26, 2020. Our theme, I think, remains spirituality. For those of you who missed us yesterday, well, we're treating on Aristotle's 12 virtues to get at our theme of spirituality this week. On this day, in 1874, Robert Frost was born. He was an American poet, but I think his first poems were published in the United Kingdom. He was the Nobel laureate in Vermont. He was a 4-time Pulitzer Prize winner for his poetry, and we all probably read a poem of Robert Frost's when we were in elementary school, particularly one where he's stomping in the snowy woods. But there's one that always tickles me, maybe for the wrong reasons, but it's called Fire and Ice. And I thought I might give you this brief piece of his. Spoken like a true New Englander. This is Fire and Ice by Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great and would suffice. I would like to also then give you the last bit of Hamlet's speech. And there's a word that I'm starting with, and I'm going to tell you about it so you don't get lost in it. It's usually the actor's job to make our modern audience know what Shakespeare's vocabulary means. And because I don't have access to my full body and full range of voice, let me tell you this. And of course, by the way, you know, of course, that Shakespeare's audiences were coming to the theater, specifically coming to Shakespeare's plays, to learn what the new language was and what the new language was defined as, to learn how to articulate how they felt. Well, this word is fardel. It's tricky, but its etymology, I love the etymology of words, its etymology goes back, as you can imagine, through a number of geographies, but ultimately to Arabic. And it's about a bundle. It's a bundle you would carry. Who would fardels bear to grunt and sweat under a weary life, but that the dread of something after death, the undiscovered country from whose bourne no traveler returns, puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have than fly to others that we know not of? Thus conscience does make cowards of us all. And thus the native hue of resolution is sicklied o'er with a pale cast of thought, and enterprises of great pith and moment with this regard their currents turn awry and lose the name of action. Now I mentioned that's the second bit. The first bit, to be or not to be, you know what the second part of that line is, to be or not to be. That is the question. But there's this something called the first quarto, or some people refer to it as the bad quarto. And it goes, to be or not to be, to be or not to be. That's the point. It was not really a soliloquy that poses a question or calls the question. It's about making a point. And having dealt with this speech a good bit, I can safely say Hamlet more often than not is making a point than he's calling the question. I offer to you. I hope you are doing okay, and I hope you join us again tomorrow. And if you'd like to talk to me or talk to us here at Tennessee Shakespeare Company, email us at contact, something we can't always do physically now, contact@tnshakespeare.org. I'll look forward to hearing what you have to say. Until then, be well. Please do be safe. And if you know of someone who would love to hear from you today, do so.